Okay, we are live and welcome to our Thursday evening, May 11th school committee meeting. We are returning from executive session that ended at 6:47, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and just to remind everyone, we do have a public hearing scheduled to be around 7:50, so hopefully we will be on schedule for that. Our first order of business is public comment. I don't see any public in the room, and there was no one to call in. So we will move on to recognition. Dr. Ligon.
Yeah, let me pull that right up. So, him. He's made a major difference in North Andover. He goes above and beyond, and not only with keeping schools safe, but also the compassion, the empathy, and the solution focus in which he's worked with families across this community. So we are really going to miss EJ. We have a
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the minutes from April 27th, 2023 as presented in the packet.
I'll second.
Is there discussion? Okay, ready to vote. I'm going to start over here because it's just how my brain's working tonight. Mr. Hicks?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
And Ms. Koenig?
Yes.
Great. So we are 5. And I will vote yes. Sorry. Yes. All right. And moving on to our student representative report. I see Nora here. Welcome. The floor is yours.
Just to reintroduce myself, my name is Nora El-Khadiji. I'm a senior at North Andover High School. The other student representative, Ben Abbott, can be here today. He's currently at the spring band concert at NOS, so good luck to him and all the other students performing there tonight. This past Saturday, the NOS Drama Guild hosted a 12th night, which I hear my friends in the Drama Guild tell me is a very fun show to put on, and I heard it was a very successful show. So congratulations to them. As I mentioned earlier, the NOS Spring Band concert is today, beginning right now at 7 o'clock, going until 9 o'clock, and it features performances from the NOS Wind Ensemble, Symphonic Band, and Percussion Ensemble, and then also features a tribute to John Williams. Jazz Night is coming up on the 12th, or tomorrow, and it features performances from the high school band and the middle school band, or the jazz ensemble, and features guest artist Nick Manella, so good luck to them tomorrow night. And then to get into sports at NOS, Both the girls and the boys lacrosse teams have had very successful seasons so far, both of them winning their games against Central and Billerica separately. And then lastly, the boys tennis team also beat Billerica last week, so congratulations to them. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Let's see if we have any questions, Mr. Hicks.
It's after May 1st. Am I allowed to ask, Nora, have you made a decision about next year?
I have. I'm attending Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Very
you.
excited for you. You're going to do amazing things. So
Thank you.
thank you very much and best of luck. We get a couple more weeks with you, but congrats.
Thank you.
Must be a very large weight lifted off your shoulders to have that.
Very. I waited till the last minute too, so I
Was it
think-
like the first at like 11:35 you decided? Like,
I don't know. Like I knew way before then, but I like to hold on just until 110%.
You wanted to make them really appreciate you, right?
Exactly,
You make-
exactly.
Yeah, make them wait for your decision.
no other questions.
Mr. McDevitt.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you again. And I know, I'm not sure if you'll be here for our next meeting because of, I think that's the start or the beginning of your senior week activities. So enjoy all of those if we don't see you before then. So it's a great week.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
Yeah, if we don't see you again, good luck. I wish I got to know you better, but I only just joined myself. Is Ben a junior?
He's junior.
He'll be back,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Good luck.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, thank you for your service to make the announcements at these meetings. That's amazing. I echo Dave. I haven't known you very long, but you've done an amazing job, and you seem like a very bright, intelligent person who has a bright future. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep, I will echo what everyone else said. Congratulations. Trinity College is lucky to have you, and you are going to do awesome things. So, great job. Thank you. You're free to stay if you would like, or you are free to go and enjoy the beautiful weather we are finally having.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Congrats, Nora.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations. All right, Dr. Gilligan.
All right, a few updates in the superintendent's report this week. Is I got a really cool email from Madash Chuduri this week, and he was talking about how he had qualified for the National Science Bee, not the spelling bee, but the Science Bee. So what is the Science Bee, you may ask? Well, I hadn't heard of the Science Bee myself, so but he had sent quite a bit of information on it. So it's a science-themed, buzzer-based academic quiz competition for individual students in elementary, middle school, and high school. And he's been trying out and qualifying the last couple of years. And this year, Madash qualified for the high school round as a ninth grader and made it to the national competition, which took place in Arlington, Virginia, April 27th and 28th. And came in as a semi-finalist, so really cool. He'll be working with some folks at the high school to help promote this. There's a time period in which other students can take an exam to qualify, and just really cool. I hadn't heard of it, and it was a kind of a surprise email, and I was very happy, and congratulations to that. All right, senior week activities. I think last time Ben might have talked about them. And I thought for sure Nora would be talking about those tonight. But there's a host of senior week activities, and it all culminates really. The big one will be graduation. So for your first time participating in graduation, it's my favorite event of the year. It's really cool, and I've had the good fortune of seeing kids come up through the system. So like last year's valedictorian, when he was in kindergarten, I was his principal. Excited about that. This week, if you haven't heard, it's Teacher Appreciation Week. We're really lucky to have so many engaged, enthusiastic, dedicated educators here in North Andover. And just thank you for your time and effort, always willing to go above and beyond for our students. They deserve all the recognition that they get this week. And I know PTOs have done quite a few things for them, for making the North Andover Public School District the best it can be each and every day and every year. So thank you, and just recognizing that. And when I say Teacher Education Appreciation Week, typically I like to call it Educator Appreciation Week because there are so many different jobs in education that fit. They're all teachers. It's also not to be confused with traditional Nurse Appreciation Day, which was last weekend. There's a school Nurse Appreciation Day, and it was this past Wednesday. And, throughout the pandemic, and now just, back to, all the things they do, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all that our nurses do for our student staff and what they do for our families. Their commitment to health, well-being, and safety of everyone in the school is remarkable. They take care of our sick students, provide health education. They're a source of support, comfort, and they're making a difference in our students' lives. And it's always one of my favorite presentations. I think it's the next school committee meeting we will have Miss Barzak in to give that health update. Following up on that, we'll be talking a little bit, but just a reminder, town meeting, it is next week, the 16th, 6:30 p.m. at North Andover High School. There is childcare available through community programs. If you haven't read the edition of the Nightly News, it's hot off the press today. It was blasted out to 5,000 plus folks, and it's on the front page of our website as well, northandoverpublicschools.com. And check that out, because we'll talk a little later in the meeting about the articles coming up that particularly pertain to the schools. But there's a lot of information there, and there's also a link on the child care piece. But I think you have to sign up by this Saturday. So just a reminder on that. And last but not least, I know Mr. Hicks has been chomping at the bit here to get the robotics folks in, and I have too. And last time we had planned on getting the robotics folks in, we had planned on going down to the high school and having the event there. And the robotics folks were in actually at the Nationals. So they did really well at the Nationals. Mr. Motherway, I'm still going to try to get him here. And particularly, they are an entertaining group, but they're also a talented group. And in an email to me earlier today, I think he said he's had a few that have decided now on RPI, is what he indicated. So we'll have those folks in, but really, congratulations to them. And we will hopefully get to them this year. And I think that's it for the superintendent's report.
Looks like it. Okay, so we'll move on to the chair's report. It's pretty late tonight. Just want to look at potential dates for the summer retreat. Dr. Gilligan, you said that the administrators will be meeting the 8th, 9th, and 10th of August, and it's ideal if we meet after that. And so I guess we can potentially look at the 14th, 15th, 16th, or 17th.
So one day thing, Madam Chairman?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's basically probably 8:30 to 1 or so kind of workshop that we do. And sometimes we've brought some speakers in, and we just worked on different initiatives.
Okay. Yep, that's good.
I don't remember, it's a public meeting, but it's not broadcast, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
We have had the press here before. Yep.
Yeah.
Right, just not the next week,
Not the next week.
the 21st.
Of August.
Yeah, I'm on vacation that week.
Okay.
Sure.
Far, far away.
We could join you if you want.
You could. Hey,
How far away?
Yeah, how far away?
Scandinavia?
That's pretty far.
I'll
Okay.
pass. Sounds cool.
Not tropical enough for you?
In August, I think it's
It's
pretty
warm
safe.
then.
It's pretty warm.
Maybe we can have Michelle do a doodle poll for us to
Sure.
put
Yeah.
the dates out and see
Yeah.
what's best for everybody.
Absolutely.
I like the week of the 14th.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
Yep. And then I just wanted to really quickly let you know that if you're at town meeting is when we sign the diplomas as a group. If you are, I think both of you had said you were going to be at town meeting, and everyone's going to be there, so we'll just get our hands ready, massage them, and pens, and sign away.
All sign every single one?
We sure do.
All right.
Make a
Yeah.
good choice about what your signature looks like.
Yes,
At the
practice.
beginning.
The pen you're using?
They'll provide pens so
provide
that they're all the
Oh.
same.
Are they good pens?
Yeah, I think they were good. I know.
I'm an attorney. I am picky about the pens that I use.
I mean, if,
There are nice
I thought
pens
a
out
mortgage
there.
closing was a lot of signatures. No.
Yeah.
be a little over an hour this week, an hour and 10 for me to get through.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, and then we have added an agenda item just so that we can have updates regularly for the school building committees. That way, you know, things are changing regularly. We don't always, you know, we just don't want to forget anything. So if there are updates about the middle school, I know Mr. Hicks, you are on that committee, and Mr. McDevitt, you are on that, and Dr. Mealy, you're on everything. So feel like between the three and whoever else is able to attend, we can get some updates. Do you have updates?
Sure. So we haven't had a meeting since the last school committee meeting. It was before then, but we have gone through the design. It's in final stages. We voted and approved the outside landscape design of what the addition is going to look like. We have pre-qualified or had put out a notice for pre-qualifying the general contractors and had a really great response. I think we had, I want to say, at least 10 general contractors get pre-qualified, which is a great number, and because that means we get lots of people to bid. We get a good low number to then go with, and that's really exciting. Subcontractors also got pre-qualified. The one area that there wasn't anyone to submit yet was for the elevator, because in the auditorium there's going to be a lift installed for the stage.
Awesome.
That's okay if that one doesn't get necessarily pre-qualified, because that can get absorbed into the general contractor part. So we're not worried about that. Important town meeting that everyone shows up so we can vote and approve the monies for the construction. Right now, it looks like we'll have the bids in. We'll be able to do the final selection process the very end of June, beginning of July. And if everything goes as planned, as we hope, during the next school year, there will be breaking ground and building the addition. And
I put up the
thank you.
phasing, yep.
And then so that's during the 23-24 school year is all the addition, and then the afterwards, the 24-25 school year is the renovations to all the other parts of the building, because we'll be using the new addition to move kids in and out. They've been very smart about the proposed phasing of the work to make sure that school can continue to operate safely with minimal interruptions, and so that kids can continue to use the rest of the space, which is good. Been very thoughtful about how the construction vehicles will access the site and where parking will be, to make sure that there's ample and safe parking for everybody, and that the big trucks with the steel can get in and out safely without disrupting the surrounding neighborhood. We were sure to to advocate for trucks to enter on Main Street and exit onto 125 and not disrupt the neighboring the neighborhood right there, and really exciting that all this stuff is going to happen soon.
It's very exciting. Thank you.
I think I got it all.
That was good.
Question.
Sure.
This may seem a little silly, but
And like the renovation is going to be a lot of classroom space and dedicated special ed. Right? Am I remembering that correctly? So, some science space and some special ed space as well.
Mm-hmm. And all the carpet and ceiling.
Yeah, and
tiles,
that's in the
that
addition.
kind of
And the
stuff.
renovation will be new, like updated mechanicals, getting rid of all the carpeting, new lighting in the auditorium, new curtain in the auditorium, like lots of great things.
Yep.
Great.
the,
I just wanted to add one thing to that, just because it's relevant to ESY services. Last year, in years past, that's the middle schools where we've housed all of our extended school year services. So parents have noticed about their EYS services, but we're still working out, because a lot of those programs need air-conditioned space, and that is not something that we have to disperse amongst schools. So some of those middle school programs will go to the high school, others will go to the elementary schools. So we're still working to work on those locations a little bit. So just
Great.
FYI.
Thank you.
Joe, is the ceilings in the existing building, are they going to stay or are they going to be redone? Do you know? One reason I'm asking that is there's all this
They paint all
artwork.
the tiles, right?
All the tiles,
yes.
and I feel like
They're not getting they will reuse as much as they can.
To try
Yes.
to preserve as much of that. It's a
And,
really cool
and I
thing.
feel like I don't remember we talked about. I would definitely would want to preserve all that amazing artwork. it compromises their function as sound dampening devices.
It's a middle school, I'm not sure how you're going to dampen sound in that building.
And I prefer the amazing artwork. So like that is,
Consideration. Well, at least people are paying attention to
They
that.
are, definitely.
Yeah. No, I think it's really cool that the kids do that, and
Yeah.
they so much look forward to it, and then,
Yeah.
go back in later and they
Yeah,
do
yeah,
their
that's
stuff
my
in
time.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a shame to lose it. That's,
it would be an absolute shame to lose
Yeah.
it, because it gives the school such character and such a,
I feel like there are a lot of creative ways to reuse that material.
Right,
Yeah.
if you have to reuse, that's why I asked, like,
Mhm.
you could make it into some kind of display somewhere or
Sure.
whatever, but,
Yeah.
okay, at least people are considering it, right?
They definitely are.
Yeah, okay.
Is there a Kittredge update?
I don't think there's anything at this point. I mean, I think we
Well,
just got,
there's one. Across the state, enrollment is down. So Dr. Gilligan and I have a meeting with MSBA on Monday to discuss how that might impact the size of the new Kittredge. It might not be as big, but we're making the case for losing classrooms across the district in order to put services and supports into classrooms so that that's sufficient space for those things. So that reduces the number of classrooms, meaning we need Kittredge to pick up the slack. So we'll have that discussion on Monday.
Okay. Great. All right. I think that we need to move a few things out of order because public hearing is next, and we announced it for about 7:50. We seem to be ahead of schedule.
like,
I'm not sure how.
So
I think
if
it's a
it's,
student report. I'm just
I
going
feel like I feel like the superintendent's report was actually only 5 minutes tonight.
so if it's okay with everyone, we can jump down to item B. Is that
Yeah.
fine? Okay.
Actually, C.
C.
Yeah, you have,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yep, my eyes are jumping around. Yep, so we will move down to item C, which is Article 12. Which I think we got some updates on and some clarification. Is that what's in here?
There's two copies.
The old and the
The
new.
one that says 33 on it is actually from the warrant book. So this is what's printed in the warrant book. That has been voted on, my understanding, probably early April by the select board. And then based on some feedback, this is what I think is going to be voted on by the select board, or that they're gonna make a motion during town meeting to amend it to include the language that's here in red.
Okay. So do we need a motion before discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll move that we adopt Article 12 as amended.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. And is
Madam
there-
Chair, point of order, do we have to include in the motion to vote favorable or unfavorable as part of the? Does the
What did
motion
you
have to be
say?
made?
In such a way as to, yeah.
I don't know. That's like a
What-
purely.
What,
Well, so I'm okay. I think that's a good idea.
so you're gonna
So
amend your?
I'm gonna, do I amend it or restate it? It's already seconded.
Were you just making an amendment just to have the changes?
Right,
first?
what I mean to do is propose Article 12 as amended here, and that we vote favorable action on it.
That was my question. Do we have to include favorable or unfavorable in the motion?
In the motion.
In the motion?
Probably
I think
do.
probably do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You do just to know whether you're saying yes or no.
Yeah.
right.
Right, right.
So, how about if I withdraw it and then restate it? Is that
Sure,
okay?
do that. That sounds very
So
simple.
officially, you just need the person who seconded it to withdraw their second.
I withdraw my second.
Okay.
Thank you.
And now I would like to make a motion that we, I'm getting ahead of you. I'd like to make a motion that we vote favorable action on Article 12 as amended in the red ink version of, we were handed in our packet.
Thank you.
I second that motion.
Okay, and now is there discussion?
So I'm going to vote no against this. I'm not. I think that this is a good attempt at identifying clarity with this. There were some changes that were made in terms of whatever is identified here in red. I feel like this is a bylaw of the charter, and we are now, I guess, 5 days away from town meeting, and we're being asked to vote on something as it's being amended here. The select board hasn't voted on it. I don't think that this has been publicly put out there. I think it's a step in the right direction. I think it clarifies the language that we have that goes back to the 1940s. And I think it is a little bit more reflective of the town and the dynamics of both of our boards. And, even when it was written in the 40s, we didn't have really the concept of the school building authority. In order to possibly, I don't think anyone ever thought we were going to have multiple school building projects within the same year. I just feel like a amendment to the charter and the bylaws is a little bit more serious than this, and I don't support this kind of 5 days before town meeting.
So can I ask for clarification, just so I understand?
Yep.
So the article, it's the article with the changes that you're hesitant about, or is it the whole article itself?
It's the whole article, it's the process. I don't feel that this is transparent. This is 5 days before we've already printed the warrant, and now we're voting on changes that are not in the warrant. The select board hasn't voted on, and we're gonna go into town meeting with this. So I'm not supporting this. This is not transparent in my mind at all. We had our meeting on the 27th. The select board had a meeting on the 8th this week. They never brought this up. They never discussed it. They sent this to us today or yesterday and are asking for us to do something on it. They did nothing on it. They had an opportunity on Monday. They chose not to do something with it or didn't put it on their agenda. I just feel like we're rushing this. We have no additional school building committees that are scheduled for next year or probably 2 years, and I just feel like they're rushing this. This isn't transparent. So I'm a no.
I disagree with you, sir. I think the select board did their due diligence in posting public comment and hosting their meetings and discussing it the way that they were supposed to. And although something didn't happen last week, I think we have provided them with when it came to us, we provided them with the necessary feedback of what we would like to see different to provide that clarity. And we are being presented with that here, and they're willing to then make the change at town meeting. I feel, so I am comfortable with that. I also am a fan of clarity and making sure that we know what the process is and defining that. And I feel like this language here does that for us. And I don't feel rushed to make a decision right now. So I'm not bothered by the speed of which it happened. I actually am thankful that they're willing to put forth amendment on the town meeting to address our concerns. It shows the collaborative nature of like what we're trying to do here to make sure that everyone's voice is preserved and yeah. So
I guess my feeling is that we had issues with it as presented. We made those issues known to them. They came back and addressed it. I mean, I wouldn't support the original one, right? But as amended, I'm comfortable because I think they've done what I thought was missing here is now addressed. They define how the building committee is formed. They define what happens if they can't get, unanimous decisions. So, I guess I don't see a problem with it.
I think that the original intent of the bylaw was transparent. I think the intent has always been there. I think, we clarified some of the language, but I don't believe it had changed the intent of the bylaw. Just made it a little bit clearer so it's easier to follow and understand, but the heart of it is still the same. Therefore, I'm supportive of it.
I guess I'd kind of make one more comment.
Yeah,
I mean, I do feel
please.
like the fact that we discussed this in our last meeting and this is a public forum tonight is fairly transparent, right? I mean, people could hear, if they were so choose, they could monitor our last meeting, see our minutes. They are monitoring this meeting. I feel like we are transparent, at least we are, in doing it this way.
I'm going to be pretty honest. I'm a little confused about how this process went down. I do agree that we need this. I'm kind of a little on both sides here, just because of how things went. I'm kind of in the middle.
I guess I have a procedural question, right? I mean, the assumption in my motion is that they bring forth this exactly as amended. If they don't, then I would not be in favor, right? But if they bring it as amended, I'm in favor.
Which is what we're voting on,
Right.
I think, right now.
Right, so,
And the select would have not voted on it.
all right, so they, well,
So will they vote at town meeting?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
They had a meeting this week and they did not vote on this.
Do we know why?
I am not on select board.
Right, no, good point.
I think it's been printed in the warrant. Before that, it was written, discussed, voted on favorably 5-0 at select board in its original
form.
and they would have gone through several readings. So like it's not, so it has gone through that process. Yes, there's been some changes being made now because of our feedback. So I think that is an important thing that we acknowledge. Like they didn't just make it up quickly. It went through all the proper channels on the town side as well. And public had opportunity. It was discussed in public opportunity to comment.
And I am just going to echo the comments that I appreciate the collaborative effort across the boards working on this, and I'd really like to see a lot more of collaborative effort
What was the collaborative?
of them coming forward with the article and bringing it to us and saying, please give us your opinions, feedback, and putting in some changes to clarify, which were some concerns of ours. So I think that was a nice collaborative effort of being receptive to feedback across boards.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the process of the warrants that were shared for all of them, right? Like I
So I mean, I don't mean to cut you off. I mean,
No, please do.
I appreciate that, and I think you said it very well, Alyssa, right? The intent is still very consistent. We asked some clarifying questions. I think that they've responded. They've kind of put some information in here that I think solidifies the process. I think we needed to update the process.
Mhm.
I think the fact that we let them know, what our concerns were. They had a meeting. I don't know who drafted this. I got this from the chair. So I assume that they have the votes for kind of moving forward, but I think as Dave said, his amendment is inclusive of what's here in red. And so if that's what's presented at town meeting, I think we're voting on that tonight.
Right.
And that's probably fair and fine. You okay?
Yeah, no, they needed me in the technical.
Okay, all right. You just came running in like with
was trying to
breaking
get
news or
back.
something.
I think it's a note from his mom.
Gilly needs dinner.
I don't miss many of those.
So,
if we're looking at the language as it is amended with the red, are we comfortable and confident with that language?
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
I am.
And you're not sure?
yeah, I'm voting no because
Yeah.
I don't appreciate the process.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity where they could have voted on this week. They could have discussed it. I don't know where this came from. So I'm voting no.
And then if we don't vote for favorable action,
I think you've
What's-
got the votes for favorable action.
right, but I'm saying if we didn't, what would be the next step? It goes until next year?
No.
Well, two things could happen, right? They could present it anyway, because it's just our recommendation, right?
Right.
True,
Right.
okay,
So they could present it anyway,
yep,
and, or they could withdraw.
And the town has the will,
Yeah.
the final ability to say yes or no, town meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Simply put, this is your recommendation, so you can either vote favorable action, you can vote unfavorable action, or you could.
Not have an opinion.
Right.
Right.
But the motion on the table right now is
Right.
favorable.
Motion.
sure, right,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm saying in
In
the
theory,
grand scheme of
Right.
things.
Right, but we're also very, I think, clear that we're only voting favorable as amended.
As a matter.
As amended.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Hicks,
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt,
No.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Koenig,
Yes.
and I'm going to abstain because I can't decide. So we are
3-1.
3-1. Yes.
So passes.
Okay.
Favorable with red.
And then, okay, so we need to move on to Articles 18 and 22. Which is my letter of support.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that we vote to approve the draft of your lovely memo to be forwarded to the town manager in support of Articles 18 and 22.
Second.
Is there discussion?
As noted before in the North Andover Middle School building update, that is part of the capital plan.
Yes.
So I would very much like to see this get all the support necessary to make sure that that continues to happen. So,
Great. Are we ready to vote? Oh, go ahead.
I just have a question.
Sure,
But I have to find it. Bear with me a minute, sorry.
go for it. You're fine.
Uh,
We're still ahead of schedule. You're
Yeah.
good on time.
Sorry.
You've got 12 minutes.
No,
want-
no, 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 no.
I know,
He
no.
doesn't.
So, Mr. Petrowski knows me very well. Don't give me 12 minutes if I don't need 12 minutes.
He doesn't have to, you have a minute.
Yeah, I'm known for post-game chats that go on for too long.
Did you have a question, Mr. McDevitt?
No, go ahead. I mean, are you ready? Or?
No, I'm still looking for,
So I do just have a quick question, just based on the
Oh, yeah.
document that's here, right? So we've got
here it
the
is.
paper here that says 18, which basically is the appropriation, and then there's 39, which is the, page 39, the fiscal year CIP, and then is that, I feel like I might be missing a page of the warrant, and I don't,
Oh, yeah.
because there is no, like, real motion, I guess, or is it just?
This is just a support vote. This
we're
would be a vote of
only
support.
the motion is about to approve of the memo of support.
So which one you look at? 18 is, this is the motion to see if the town will vote to appropriate the aggregate amount of 29.
Okay, we're not making any recommendation on 18, we're just basically moving on the letter of that. Okay, because I felt like I was missing something in 18, right?
Right, a approval of the letter is a support of both 18 and
That's
22.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. It just, when it got pulled from the warrant, I feel like I'm missing a page here.
Yeah.
That's fine, okay, I've seen it.
All right, so I found my question.
Okay.
So I just was looking into the big spreadsheet that's part of 22, and I think this is, I don't know if anyone here knows the answer to this, but when I look at the education part of that, it has the big $60 million number, right? The 63, 64, 146, and that says in a public school. There it is, yeah. So full day kindergarten, 0, special education, 0. So that special education 0, like, why is that pulled out separately? Isn't that part of the?
I don't know why, I've never noticed that. They're included in the operating
Right, I
budget.
mean, we have
Remember,
15 million.
We've never broken them out, and I think it's just a carryover that they used to maybe report it
Separately?
separately, but I've never seen it reported separately.
Right, so that just, my eye just jumped to that. Like, why is it say 0? It can't be.
Because it looks like we're not spending any money on special ed.
Right, and that's not, obviously.
Which is not true.
Obviously not true, and wouldn't want to give anybody that impression. The second question I have is, it says full day kindergarten. So is that something that's, if memory serves, we used to have that, I don't know if we have it anymore, but it was an optional thing people could pay
We used
for?
to have half day, we had full day, but half day was, we were obligated to provide half day free.
Right.
We moved, 8 or 9 years ago now?
I was not the beneficiary of it, so.
My niece was the first year of it being included, and she's in 8th grade currently.
Yeah.
This is a sore subject, Mr. McDevitt. Nah.
Sorry.
Assistant superintendent,
I'm
school
there with
committee
you.
member.
Disregarding
We
that.
paid the tuition at the time, and it was better educationally. And
Sure, I-
Dr. Millie, really spearheaded that. And we get the Chapter 70 funding. It was full day students for those kids.
So again, so that's actually, we do offer it now, and it's for everybody.
And it's included in the operating budget that you.
Okay, so likewise, it's probably a legacy reason for it
Yeah, I'll
being.
talk to town manager or Lynn Savage about taking, it's a little misleading,
Yeah.
just to see the zeros.
Yeah, good
I
catch.
think 8 years ago, or 9 maybe, when we voted it, we had to move some money in from the budget to fund the second half of the day.
Okay.
And then if I remember correctly, that next year, the Chapter 70 reimbursement funds came in. So we only kind of had to do a one-time, basically, like, the town basically advanced us the money, and then the reimbursement came in through Chapter 70. And I think that line is probably still there.
From then.
Having been empty since then. Special education, I don't remember ever having it carved out. But the only thing I could think of is if we establish a special education stabilization fund, but I feel like that's somewhere else.
It's separate,
It's
exactly.
separate. That's
Yeah.
the only thing I could think of, but it's a separate line.
Yep,
So, so that would be advisable to remove these, because
Mhm.
not confuse people.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyway, for the record, I paid for the full day too.
All right.
I think at least
3 for
twice,
3.
and maybe 3 times.
I didn't.
Have to ask my wife.
Tougher pill to swallow the last year.
Yeah, when you knew it was coming too. You know.
Yeah.
And Zora, Zora Warren, who was on the committee, Dr. Gillen and myself, we all paid.
Yeah.
I paid. Not for the third, though.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That was it. That
Thank
was
you
what I was
that.
looking for, yeah.
That's good clarification. Okay, are we ready to vote? Mr. Hicks?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Koenig?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. We are five, and we are still ahead of schedule. But I'm not sure we have the right amount of time for the next item of business.
We
I
did a
mean-
first read.
It's a first read, so
the
I'm actually not going to go through
history
every.
curriculum.
That one, we're not doing
we're not
this
doing that.
evening.
Oh, you're not
We
doing
have to
that.
take it
Okay,
off,
alright.
yeah,
That's right.
yep. Do you wanna
Yeah. I mean,
plow
I could-
through your,
I can start. I think there's a lot of information here, so I'm thrilled to be able to present and provide an update to the community and to the school committee on my goals, our shared goals, and the school committee goals as part of the 2023 school year comes to an end. I'd like to talk a little bit tonight about some of the end-of-cycle evidence, provide a few highlights to start, and then go over the goals and highlight really one of the key areas of end-of-cycle evidence, which is in the packet. I'm really proud this year of our ability to address student needs and maintain our focus on the strategic plan. I think it's testament to this committee. I think it's to the team we have and the dedication and the resilience of our staff and students in the universal commitment to education. This year was an exciting year, as you know, from operating budget to programming to capital projects. And, the budget this year represents 5.5% increase from the previous budget. And after 2 years of reliance on pandemic-era ESSER grants, these funding sources are largely ending, yet the need for these resources and grants has not. So the inclusion of over $1 million in additional funding in the FY24 budget offsets the loss of ESSER grants and completes our dependence on these outside grants, putting those positions into the operating budget, which is really exciting. We've made significant efforts this year on class size is a key highlight, where 5 years ago, well over 50% of our classes were above the recommended guidelines, and this year, when we had the October 1 enrollment data, we were only 6. We completed a successful search for the hiring of a new assistant superintendent for teaching and learning to replace Ms. Marks, and Pamela Lathrop will start on July 1. She was just recently named the Massachusetts Principal of the Year, which is really exciting. And once again, we applied for quite a few grants. I know Ms. Marks and the team have talked this year about acceleration academies, but the ability to run those in February and April break really make a difference. As we go down to goal 1, and that was our shared goal, and that's what's unique about us working together is the ability to work together and not only collaborate as a school committee and a school administration, but across the town. Collaborate with municipal officials and engage residents to ensure appropriate and adequate educational facilities and funding in the future to decrease class size and to meet the needs of all students. And really, this is about, for a long time, particularly at elementary, it was class size. Now it's about equity, access, and the appropriate spaces. A lot has changed since the Kittredge School was built in 1949. And we had, as you go through, key actions and benchmarks. And you'll see the end of cycle evidence. I've provided quite a few links of examples there. Joe spoke tonight a little bit about the middle school. Dr. Mealy and Mr. McDevitt on the Kittredge, and we'll continue to work on these things, but we are meeting those deadlines. So although not part of the budget request, this is pretty historic for the town of North Andover. At the last town meeting, and that's why it's important to attend, to approve facilities master plan 2, and we'll break ground on a 26,000 square foot much needed addition at the middle school coming up. So thank you for that. As we go on to the superintendent's goals, through the ongoing discussion with district and school-based teams, we continue to identify and address the learning needs resulting from the pandemic. We'll transition our planning and focus on the long-term curriculum resource plan to address student needs. And as you look down at the end of the cycle evidence, I think what was critical here, again, was the budget this year, because in addition to, you'll see some of the professional development that took place for the high-quality curriculum materials, such as Wit and Wisdom, but even more importantly, this operating budget includes classroom teachers, special educators, English language learner teachers, reading and math interventionists at the elementary, coaches at the elementary and the middle school, 2 bilingual parent liaisons, custodians, social workers, and counselors at every single level, school psychologists, and in addition, next year would be an additional library media specialist. So when we talk about meeting student needs, these are areas that are really critical. Another example, if you picked one, if you look down at the Wit and Wisdom professional development, I've included one of the sessions there. We've just had some folks come out from the state to talk to us about what we're doing with Wit and Wisdom, and there are some other communities that are been visiting to try to gain the knowledge we have with the work of us putting that in. If you go to 3, for the 2023 school year, the district will support a district-wide commitment to social justice and equity for all students and staff. Continue working to create a culture that reflects, respects, and embraces the voices, perspectives, and differences arising from our community. And you can see the action steps, and there's quite a bit of evidence there for you guys to go through. But I draw your attention really to the equity audit and review. That was a pretty lofty goal to set back in the beginning of the year because it is quite a process. And we have, not only in that evidence, you'll see the secured funding from the ARPA funds up to $150,000. We've worked with the town to make this not like a truly townwide effort, so not just schools, but youth services, police, all aspects of that. And we have it out to bid, and we've received the deadline for proposals are coming in, and we will have someone on board as part of our goal this year to take place next year. And that's what we said in the beginning of the year. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that along with the others. And you know, it would be a pretty comprehensive review. We do have a school committee goal. I was going to let Pam do that, but we are.
Yeah, we're just at 7:50, so we can pause on the fourth goal and then get ready for our public hearing.
Okay.
So we have some tech support, I hope.
That's why I had to run out to make sure we get it.
So, are we live in the public hearing? We are live in the public hearing, okay. And then, do we have to,
Enter in, we have to.
We have to
make a motion to
enter-
enter into.
okay.
Move to enter into.
All right, so is there a motion to enter into public hearing?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to move into public hearing for the purpose of discussing school choice.
I'll second it.
Great. Ready to vote? Mr. Hicks?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Koenig?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. Okay. And it does not appear that there is anyone in the public hearing, so we can wait just a few minutes. And then just to clarify that this is, the public hearing is for other towns, the possibility of other towns coming to North Andover Public Schools.
Yes, on an annual basis, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education requires that each school committee, after holding a public hearing, consider whether the district will participate as a receiving district, and they really put on a master list as part of the school choice programming for the upcoming year. And we need to notify DESC of that decision every year by June 1st. And the recommendation from the administration was due to the enrollment numbers. The administration, we're not recommending North Andover participate in school choice. So the recommended action would be that the committee vote to decline participation in school choice for the 23-24 school year.
So this is
Okay.
a meeting within a meeting.
Meeting within a meeting.
Play within a play.
I had logged us at 7:51 for Mr. Hicks' motion, so we are at 7:53. Anyone get snacks? Just kidding.
Can I use, Madam Chairman, can I use the restroom?
Go for it.
Thank you. Let me know if I miss anything.
We'll hold down the fort.
Okay.
From the broadcast booth, I thought we had one on the line, but if they did, they lost them.
Okay. You know, we were right on time, so,
I think we did great.
yeah.
Conflicting with the Celtics tonight, is that why there's no one here?
That's why.
That must be.
That's the only reason.
It's the high school concert.
And-
Oh,
and
that's
it.
actually true. Yeah.
Actually,
There's always something going on, especially I feel like in the spring. It's such a busy time of year. So quiet. Does anyone sing?
I keep thinking of The Little Mermaid with the thing that people live in when they used to sit around and stare at each other. Like, do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
think so, yeah.
I was actually thinking about Moonstruck, where at the end there's like they're around the breakfast table and they're it's all like this big tension, and then the old grandfather just says, "Somebody tell a joke."
Okay, well, who's got the joke?
The silence is deafening.
Mm-hmm. The Does anyone play an instrument? Next time we'll have like, live music or something.
I did sing 4 years in the high school chorus. Not well, but I was. Actually, I should.
As did I, but no.
I should restate that. I was a member of the high school chorus, which was a year-long course, period 1, every day.
It got you out of what?
Yeah.
I'm sure you were scheming for something.
No.
I figure we'll just wait for
I was
Mr.
gonna
Brown
say,
to
we
come
should
back.
wait for Mr. Brown to return. but-
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then I think we can assume that it's,
He's coming back.
here he comes. I'm gonna do this so I can literally twiddle my thumb.
Do we need to, so we need to move to end the public meeting?
Yes, and it's officially 5 full minutes that we've been open.
Madam
so-
Chair, I move that we end the public meeting on school choice.
I'll second that.
And we will vote. Mr. Hicks?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Koenig?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. Okay, so we can close our public hearing and note that nobody came. There was no public. I just want to make sure we're
Off the air.
off the second
gonna-
air.
I'm waiting for the thumbs up there.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Okay.
All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I vote that we I move that we decline the opportunity to participate in school choice for the 23-24 school year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Okay, ready to vote? Mr. Hicks?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Koenig?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. We are 5-0. Okay. So I think we can jump back to our school committee shared goals. And our shared goals, our goal is the school committee to communicate and engage with the community to advocate for the district with residents and town leadership. And some of our evidence at the bottom, you can see we started up community chats again. That started in January. We've had a couple of those meetings, and actually we need to schedule a June date, which might be tricky. Nightly news. I don't know if you know this, but it's usually includes our a school committee quarter, and then you can see the other bullets that are there that is part of our evidence of participating and reaching our goals. Are we missing anything? And thank you, Dr. Gilligan, for putting this together.
Question?
Yes.
So the CPAC meeting I was going to go to with you got
It got canceled.
canceled.
I have not heard of a reschedule yet.
Okay.
No,
So,
the June meeting.
Just the June.
Just
So
the
they're not
June.
going to reschedule May. They're just not having one for May.
oh, okay.
Okay. So,
Okay. So,
do we have a date for the June meeting yet?
I think it's the first, June 5th. I think.
Oh, this is, so what's written here?
Yep.
Okay,
all
all
right.
right.
So please remember to forward me that invite.
I will be
Yeah.
sure to do that, yes. I have not received it yet. It only came, like a day or two before the last meeting. So
Okay.
I think I forwarded it to you when I
You did.
got it.
You did.
Mhm. Yep.
And what I would say, if you're finished with your
Yes.
end of cycle evidence for the school committee.
Absolutely. I understand.
What I would say is, Michelle will be sending out to you folks tomorrow, on the school committee, a survey, an evaluation form for you to fill out, and she'll have a deadline for you, so that we have it for the next meeting. And it will be on our shared goals, the superintendent's goals, and we've made progress towards. There's also a comment section for each that you can add to. And then last but not least, and it's always a little different, there'll be a section that's required by the DESE. I don't know if anyone wants to talk about that. I mean, I certainly could. It's, the DESE evaluation. And there are a lot of sub-indicators on the DESE evaluation that you'll fill out. And for the new folks, if you have any questions about it, you can certainly reach out to the chair or the vice chair or Michelle, or I'd be happy to answer any of them.
Okay.
Is that a pretty good summary from the folks who've been on for a while?
And
Yeah.
these are a public record, correct, that go
Mhm.
out? Public can see them? Yes.
Always, yeah,
Yes.
every year.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was actually just gonna say that, I mean, I always think it's really interesting, like, I mean, every year I have, an annual review and a semi-annual, right? And I'm never on camera. I'm never broadcast to anybody in my team in the district and anybody who wants to watch, but, the evaluation of Dr. Gilligan is a public meeting, and his evaluation is a public
Public record.
document. And so, what might be interesting for you guys is, you've kind of changed seats in where you've been. I think it was, whatever, the 27th, 28th of March or so. So for some of these things, you're certainly going to be looking at them as kind of as a member of the public and then kind of here. So you may not have full context for some of the things. So feel free to reach out, to Dr. Gilligan for additional examples, or Michelle, or Chair Petrowski, for some of those. And it's okay to say, like, I don't know, I wasn't here, like for
Oh, when
for
filling
those-
out the forms.
Yeah, so like there could be, maybe he presented something at a meeting, and that's kind of one of the evidence things that's there for, I'm just gonna make this up, November. You weren't on the board, it's perfectly acceptable to say was not a member of the committee at that time. And I can't speak to all the things that are in the form that's gonna come out tomorrow, but that don't feel like you have to put something in if you obviously were not here, so. But you can put it in as a public person.
And we give feedback on the goals and on the DESI rubric, which is, there's 4 big categories and lots of sub-indicators, so there's a lot there
Okay.
to go through.
I do have a couple of questions on the 1, 2, and 3. I'm curious about, so the benchmarks for number 1, feasibility study agreement by May 29th. So what is that? Feasibility study for the, I'm confused. I guess I'm confused by the sequence.
That's a benchmark for the MSBA, for the Kittredge project.
So haven't we already done a feasibility study? Like, I'm confused.
Well, it's just kind of an overlap of that term. That's their official, they have 8 deliverables,
Uh-huh.
and one of them is that. We'll wait to hear if there's anything more that we need to do with regards to that, but I think
Okay.
we're all set.
Oh, okay. So that's just the deadline. We've already done it.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
I see.
Dave, yeah, so we started some of these goals.
Right.
The
Way
way the
back.
cycle works, go back to last summer even. I think working with the chair and the vice chair on setting those and bringing them to the committee, we've really pushed beyond setting goals that were kind of met early on, and we pushed for some really aspirational ones here.
All right. So that's just a deadline. You have to have it done by then. We had it done long ago, essentially, right?
Right.
Okay. And then the other one that jumped out, I remember actually before the election too, hearing a lot about the consultants from Boston College. I'm curious, and they're listed here as a key action for number 3, utilize their coaching services to provide ongoing support. So exactly how does that work?
So, one of the pieces of key evidence you'll see here is you'll see the dates of all the different meetings that have occurred this year. So they've taken place, the dates with the principals, coaches, teachers, leadership. And what they covered was actually looking at the data of our different internal tests, those components, and identifying gaps in areas that there may be access or equity challenges or issues. And so it's been ongoing work. And, like when you see the monthly equity and data assessment, that is with Boston College, with Kristen Pizzametti. So she usually comes here for half a day monthly, and she is also here. Then she's over in Lawrence, actually, so it works out really well.
Okay. And then the last question along those lines, I was looking actually at I followed some of these links earlier today about the new clubs that have come in, and
Sure.
some of those examples. But you did mention the equity audit review, and I think you said earlier you said we had put bids out.
Yeah,
So what's the sort of schedule for that?
So if you look at the equity audit timeline that's included in the electronic version,
Okay.
it has the opera funding date. So we secured opera funding on February 23rd. We have a request for proposals that was published according to all the procurement laws, and Dr. Mealy did a good job on that, working with Laurie Burzlaff, and that was published on April 14th. It was actually in the Tribune. The one day I caught the Tribune, like a hard copy, it was in there. Proposals are due May 8th, and then they'll be reviewed, and based on the review.
So that's happening in real time, so May 8th was just a couple
We've
days ago.
gotten them.
We just got them in.
There's a good amount of them.
Oh, okay.
Quite a few.
That was going to be the next question. Do you know how many we got?
This many?
Actually, I think it's more like this many, Jim. It was pretty thick.
What is that much and more? One's countable, one's not, or, yeah. Okay. So we got a lot.
We did.
All right.
We
Okay.
did. And so we'll go through that process, and that will be awarded. And we anticipate this to take place next year. That's what we had set the goal for. This isn't necessarily a quick thing. And then usually out of these reviews, you'll end up with a 3 to 5 year roadmap that will look forward. I think the one thing that I talked about in the fall that I felt really grateful for in this process was the ability to get opera funding and also to include the town. Like, we're a community, right? I think a lot of times things put on schools, or people think of just schools, but we don't operate in a vacuum or in isolation. And the work we do with the police, fire, DPW, youth services, community programs, it's all tied together in this work.
So just to clarify, I don't want to sound facetious. The process is that you put together a evaluation group who receive all of the submittals and then grade them, and you rank them per the scores of the group. I am part of that, and it's sitting on my table. I haven't taken the opportunity yet to start to look through them.
Right.
But that's one of the things I have to do as well as the other members of that evaluation group. So that's why I know how big it is. I didn't count how many we
All right, so
received.
it's a stack of them.
It's a stack of
Okay.
them.
And so special education is part of that, right?
That's separate.
Well,
Is it,
Wh-
or is
wh-
that something different?
we had, one of the things I listed in here was a special education review. But in an equity audit, they are absolutely looking at that aspect of it. So there's probably going to be some overlap.
Okay.
And I only know how thick it is because they couldn't, they had to send the bids from town hall over here, and I was made aware of how thick they were.
Okay.
But the bids for the special education, there's a separate bid for that as well.
Same process, separate bid, and we secured opera funding for that as well.
Okay, so there's two, okay. So I was a little confused.
Two
about that.
things
So there's
happening.
two different things happening.
Yeah,
One's an
and
overall equity audit, and one is a special education equity audit?
Correct.
Or just a special education audit?
Special
Review.
Review, okay.
and that actually wasn't part of my goals. I put it in here as evidence. I thought it was useful information to have.
Okay.
So there's quite a bit there.
Right, because the bottom, the reason that I got confused, right, is the last bullet on the cover sheet, on your cover sheet,
Mm-hmm.
right, talks about the special education, it talks about both, I guess, actually. It does,
Mm-hmm.
okay. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Other questions?
I know there's a lot to go through, and again, if you have any questions, it's not the easiest process, but, with the state, but, I'm thrilled we do it this way, because in a lot of places, it's, just the superintendent's goals, and they just pick a couple things. We've really been focused, and so, I just end on this, I feel very fortunate I have the ability to lead in this community. We have a tremendous team, we have good people, and it's exciting what's happening with the capital projects, the operating budget increases, and the ability to get the appropriate staff in. And at the end of the day, I'm thrilled that this is going to make a difference for kids for a long time, particularly the capital projects. It's a generational change, and it's pretty historic because I can't recall us ever doing this amount of work in such a short period of time. And although it extends over time, a little bit of time, it seems like a long time to us. In the history of the North Andover Public Schools, this will be pretty remarkable. So. And I look forward to your feedback next time. Thank you.
We are not going to have the presentation for the history curriculum this evening. We will add that onto the agenda for next meeting. Is that correct? Or soon?
Yeah, I apologize. I
No.
don't know if I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting. I was really trying to make that 7:50 deadline, and looking at that clock. But Miss Marks wasn't here; she couldn't be here tonight, and we were pretty. We thought we could have it on when we were posting, but we knew it would be tight to get it on for this one. But we'll come to the next one.
Great. Okay. Our next item is public comment. There is no public here, so I would.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Can I just, I want to give an extra shout out to 2 of our amazing employees, if that's okay, as part of public comment?
Sure.
I've been, my kids are participating in the youth track program. It's so much fun to watch. So, just thank you to those coaches, and I hope I don't say it wrong, but Mr. Sturdivant and Mr. Nugent and all the high school kids that help run that. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's incredible to watch. So I just want to say thank you to them. And then I want to echo Dr. Gilligan's comments earlier about the amazing school nurses. Nurse Fuller at Atkinson has done so many wonderful things, in particular to help my son make it through Atkinson and support him and care for him and even check to make sure he didn't have a concussion yesterday morning after falling off his bike. And she just goes above and beyond and taking care of the kids there. So special thanks to her.
She is awesome.
She's
I
phenomenal.
can actually echo that because I took CPR training for coaching with her.
Yeah.
She's
I know all the nurses are phenomenal. I've had the most interactions with her.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that. It's 8:11.
It's not bad. Are we ready to vote? Mr. Hicks?
Yes.
Mr. McDevitt?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Koenig?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. We are adjourned at 12. Have a good evening, everyone.